It's your boy Sid, and welcome to Speak Your Mind all the time, representing for the one and only Montreal, Canada. Yes, 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 we're here. Got another special for you. Without further ado, I'm telling you, without further ado, I got my guy. Spoonie is in the building from Pick Six Sports. What's up, Spoonie? How you been, man?
Oh, what's good, Sid? Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This draft week. This has been a long off season. This is the time where we say, hey, this when this draft week and the draft is here. Now we know football is back. So I just can't wait. I can't wait for draft day.
Yeah, man. A lot's been going on. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about what happened in the off season. Dallas Cowboys. Released players and didn't sign players and free agency, and we went and picked up one dude.
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Michael Kendricks. Yeah, Michael Kendricks, the linebacker, all former All Pro. He played under Mike Zimmer, Minnesota. His last team was the Chargers. So we brought in somebody who's experienced, former All Pro, familiarity for our new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. So that was a plus.
Hmm.
But we didn't address the running backs, offensive line, any other holes that we have on this team. And the goal is to get
Well,
as
well,
much we can.
running back. We got Freeman. We
I mean, we got Royce Freeman. I mean,
we got
it's
Freeman. I mean, he's not. That's not a big addition, but
no, it's not. It's not a big addition, but the plans will still be in place. They still feel
yeah.
that running back is still a priority, which is great. No knock on Royce Freeman. He's a big back. He had a good year last year, averaged about over 5 yards a carry. So
Mm-hmm,
I'm happy
mm-hmm.
about that. And he's a bruising back. He's as some would say, a better back than we did last year with Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones, we
Hmm.
went to training camp, he had ups and downs. He was suspended,
Yep. Yep.
ended up releasing him. So Voice Freeman to it is an upgrade, which is a great thing. But hopefully in the draft they do go out there and get that running back.
Okay. We'll get into that a little deeper in a minute. But I have a question for you. There was rumors about Zeke. Zeke in the
Right,
background. Zeke's coming back to Dallas, and then we picked up Freeman. Do you think that
right.
now that we got Freeman, that Zeke door is completely closed?
You know what? I don't think so. I know it's Jerry Jones never wanted to release Zeke. He has ties to this organization, and that's a big thing. Anything that Jerry wants, he's going to get. In my opinion, Zeke doesn't really the mini camps X, Y, and Z. As you see right now, he's working now. He's doing what he's always been doing. He's a true vet. We've seen him play with the New England Patriots. Had an okay season,
Yep.
not the same type of season he had in Dallas in the beginning of his career, but still a solid back. And in my opinion, I would never say the doors closed with any former Cowboy. Just never know.
Yeah, man. Listen, what's up? What's up, Mendoza? Um, I'm not closed off to Zeke. To be honest with you, Zeke,
Right.
I think he'll still be that guy that'll get you that first down when it's needed. He'll
Right.
get you that touchdown from 2, 3, or 4 yards back in the end zone. You know, he's a red zone. In the red zone, I think he's a strong back, and I think it'd be. I don't know. I wouldn't be upset to have Zeke back, and I still got his jersey, so I'd like to put it back to use.
Oh, 100%. Listen, I have his jersey as well. Zeke and Elliott will always be a true Cowboys, whether he's suit up again in their
Yep.
uniform or not. He's always going to be a true Cowboy, and I hope the day comes where he's a Ring of Honor guy as well. At the end of the day, you know, if with any success that we have moving forward, I would love for Zeke to be part of that success. So
Yeah, 100%. Big shout out to my guy, Dallas Cowboys fan, 1980, man. 1980, the link's there, man. If you want to just jump in and, we're here. We're going to be here for at least an hour. So click that link if you want to come on, man. So, with that being said, what do you think about what's going on with the front office? Why didn't we make proper moves in the offseason? Is it because of contract issues, do you think? or do you think that these guys are really going into the draft? And I have a clip about, you know what? Let's jump into the clip because I want to get your opinion on this because it kind of like adds to what I'm about to ask you. So
Okay.
let's just jump onto this clip and then you tell me what you think.
Um, with the free agent attrition you've had this offseason and the gap you currently have between your third pick before you're on the clock again, does that place even more of a premium on needing an immediate return on your first 3 picks in this draft, more so than usual in most drafts?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I think, in general, if you look at attrition, if you talk about probably where it hits us the hardest is, the guys we lost, obviously, in the offensive line. We've had that happen before with Connor Williams and Connor McGovern. These are guys that we picked, and then you plug them in, and they play, and then they get awarded a great contract. Unfortunately, you can't, have more than one, a couple offensive linemen that make a lot of money on your offensive line, and you certainly, want those young guys coming. So whether it's the 3 guys we've picked the last 3 drafts, Ball and certainly Awesome Richards and Waletzko, TJ Bass, all those guys are, it's time for them to step up. Obviously, TJ played a lot last year, and we really liked what we saw there. You move on to Dorrance Armstrong. You have Sam Williams, who's certainly shown a lot and certainly been frustrated with his play time frustrated is probably not a fair word, but would like to play more. And
Come on.
we think a lot of him, and he needs to step up. And then, of course, the running back situation is one, that we're continue to address. And obviously, we will look at it in the draft, but also looking at, Pollard in terms of replacing losing him. We've got to work through that. But those are all things that require young people to step up. And we've had a good track record. As I mentioned, Connor Williams, Connor McGovern stepping up. Obviously, Tolbert, it took him a year, but stepped up and played really well. And I think he'll take it to another level this year. Certainly Mike can speak to that.
And I'll also add to that, candidly, without any way being defensive, we're very proud of our personnel, very proud of this roster. Very much think this roster, without knowing right now how much the rookies are going to contribute, we're very, very feel good about the promise of the team that we're going to have this year with this roster. And I do principally because of what Steven said. We will have young players step up, no names that become names, because names have left and are off the roster. And so those guys have got to step up. You cannot play and run a team in the NFL without counting on this dynamic going on. And so we do feel good about these guys coming in. Is it ambiguous? Of course it is. It's ambiguous if you had a veteran out there. He could get hurt in training camp and you not have him again. So we're in an ambiguous business when it comes to projecting. But to answer your question, I think I'm answering it. But the question is, in my mind, about all of this, how do we feel about where we've been in this free agency?
Okay, so
we feel great about what we've been in.
I'm not even going to continue letting him play because for me, I feel like they're just they're trying to defend why they didn't do anything off season. Right. These rookies are going to have to step up. These big game name guys, we had to let them go. Yeah. What do you think about what you just heard from the Joneses?
Well, I'll tell you this. They definitely want to stay young. They feel that last year they made a big offseason move by acquiring Brandon Cooks through a trade from the Texans and oh my God, lose the cornerback. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But they made some moves last offseason by making trades, and they felt that was a big offseason for this
Mhm.
football team. So being that they didn't go far enough into the playoff, they feel, well, you know what? We're not gonna pay. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna let our guys, Dak, Lamb, Parsons, earn another year
Mhm.
as it seems right now. But for the young players that they drafted last year and the year before, they want to see them step up. They feel that that our front office did a great job in drafting these guys. We know they're good. We know they can step up. We want to see that. And at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, I understand that part. But then there's another side of me where it comes in the past where we've seen Stephen Jones, where when Des Bryant was released, you know, they went wide receiver by committee.
Yeah.
So you messed that up, right? And what
Yep.
happened? Because the plan failed, let me take a first round pick and trade for Amari Cooper. So the thing is that sometimes you have to understand if a draft pick is not panning out fast enough or quick enough, especially where your team is at right there to compete.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Sometimes you gotta just say, you know what, I messed up.
Yep.
Let's clean this up and go from there. Now, with the amount of debt that was let go this offseason, well, listen, if we didn't go to free agency to replace that debt, it's going to be through the draft and it's going to be through undrafted free agency. So this is pretty much what the Cowboys fans, as myself and you as well, we big fans that we're going to see in the next couple of days. Draft players, undrafted free agents. That's going to be the bulk of this football team. But no question, there is talent that we haven't seen. Like I could point out last year we have Damari Overshown, who was bulking up, getting much bigger to play that linebacker, that physical linebacker role. And he was on
Yeah.
a roll in preseason before he got hurt. Guys like that. Deuce Vaughn had a first couple of games. We saw some flashes, then he was put on the shelf. So John Stevens, tight end, undrafted tight end, I believe out of Princeton. He was on IR. He got hurt during the preseason, but he was having a great preseason. So the Cowboys really believe in some of these young guys, that they can step up this year. They feel that
Yeah.
we don't have to go to free agency and just overpay, or there's not enough pie to go around. Let's count on the young guys, and that's what I get from the interview right there.
Listen, I think one of the biggest problems that we have this year and even next year is contract issues,
Right.
right? And that's something that the front office, Jerry Jones has always played around when it came to contracts, right? And my biggest thing right now is we got Dak right now still in negotiation. We got CeeDee Lamb negotiation, and we got the biggest guy next year. And I hope they don't franchise tag him next year, Michael Parsons,
Right.
because we all know Michael Parsons is going for big. I think he's going for QB money. That's my opinion. I think Michael Parsons is going for QB money because what he's done with the Dallas Cowboys, he's a lot. This guy is a beast. He's a dog. You put him at any position. You've seen him. He's explosive. He brings excitement to the game. And even last year, he played injured for 6 months. Always wanted to be on the field and always wants to be that playmaker. I just
Right.
hope, please, Lord, please, please. I just hope when we do pay him, he still continues being that dog that we need him to be out there.
Oh, I think so.
So,
I think Michael Parsons' passion is off the charts. In my personal opinion, listen, for the impact that he has given this Dallas Cowboys football team, I know that you have scouts and GMs hitting themselves in their head saying, how did we let this guy pass through us? How did we, say, hey, overlooked him or whatever? Because he went number 12. And mind you, the Dallas Cowboys traded backwards to get him.
yeah,
So
to get
it's
him.
like,
Yep.
how did he fall through the cracks? And in my, just for me to say, it was a blessing in disguise that we landed the Lion in Michael Parsons. But the thing is, the front office has to do is take advantage of having a player like that, a line like that,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that could just wreck everything. But he can't do it alone. So it's just a thing that moving forward, understand what you have and just build around it, because we could do some work. You know what I mean? Don't let the talent go to waste.
So I have some comments going on and on Instagram, and I have it all going on. I want to do a big shout out to one of my great sponsors, BuzzFeed Gym here in Montreal, Canada. And while I'm saying that, my guy says Jerry will never see another Super Bowl. That's my guy, CJ. Big shout out to my guy. What do you think about that? Do you think in Jerry's lifetime, which I mean, how old is Jerry Jones now?
Pushing 80. I think he's pushing 80, I think.
Let's Google Jerry Jones age. So Jerry Jones is 81.
God bother.
So do you think in Jerry Jones's lifetime, remaining of lifetime, I say give him another 10 years. I'm being nice. give him another 10 years. I don't wish death on anybody. Do you think we'll see the Dallas Cowboys will see a Super Bowl in the next 10 years?
Well,
I think we're rebuilding.
You know, you could call it rebuilding. We could call it retooling. You know, just by the moves of just by the way how they're moving, you could call it rebuilding or retooling. It's basically where they're not gonna tell us what it is, but you're gonna know on their actions. You know what I mean? Just by the way you handle this offseason, I know I can for sure say retooling. But now, as far as winning another championship, I'm Spoonie. You know I'm gonna say yes. Until it doesn't happen, I'm gonna say yes. You know what I mean? You know, so I mean, listen. The thing is this: we could all say the Cowboys never do enough to become elite. That's fine, but we could also say they do enough to be good. Their thing is we could be good enough, get into the playoff. Let's see what happens. Let's not overpay or overdo this and overdo that. Let's be good. And you know, if that's the way they want to do it, it is what it is. But the main thing that the front office has to improve is that if you have holes on your team, you can't always cover it up. You're always going to meet that team that can take advantage of that. And that's what Green Bay did. We was bad against the run. Okay. We was bad running the ball. And we met up with a team that pretty much took advantage of it and just blew us out. And see, that's my main thing. That's my main thing.
So with that being said, you know, and you brought up Green Bay, and I got to be honest with you. I remember waking up that morning and I'm like, we're losing this game. I honestly, I felt it because you know what? Green Bay had nothing to lose. Dallas Cowboys had more to lose. They were the favorite. You know, they're America's team. You know, they've been doing so well. The media was blowing them up. This is their year. If they get past this, they can get to the Super Bowl. And I remember I was watching the game and our defense just couldn't do nothing. And when our offense did start stepping up and, you know, there was that glimpse of hope, our defense couldn't do nothing. And I just saw it slipping away. It was too late. It was just too late, little too late. And that's what we do every year. You know, our kryptonite is the 49ers. Right? Green Bay, always been a kryptonite. We lost to them. Des Bryant catch, no catch. Yes, it was a catch. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like the teams that we should always go in and do well against, we don't. And if we're going to talk on last year's record, the Dallas Cowboys play the teams that we beat. Were they strong last year? We didn't really beat any real strong team last year.
Well, I'll say this. Just from the top of my head.
Yeah.
We should have beat Philly 2 times. Philly's a good team. They're a playoff team. I believe we should have beat them twice. Buffalo Bills, we just got our hand.
Yeah.
It was bad. Miami Dolphins, we should have beaten them. It was just we got on our own way on some of these games last year. But the main thing is that with the front office, they have to start covering up. They try to make an attempt to get Shaquille Leonard from the Colts, where the Eagles beat us too. Now, of course, when it comes to a player, they want what's best for them. They're always going to try to go somewhere where they're close up at the back. And of course, Philly was, because the minute he went to Philadelphia, he became a starter. With the Cowboys, he would have not been a starter. He would have been just pretty much coming in on certain downs here and there, because he did have some limitation. This is why the Colts let him go. But It shouldn't have to be to that point to cover it up. And this is when LVE went down. LVE went down. We had to put a safety playing a linebacker role who's small. He did a good job doing the best he can. But at the end of the day, he's not a linebacker. And that's the disappointing part about this front office. They have to be you can't just cover something up, put a blanket over it like nobody's going to see it. It takes the right team at the right time that you're going to face to exploit that. And now we're done. We have no answers for that. And that's what happened in the playoffs. So at the end of the day, the front office have to learn from their past mistakes and stop repeating the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. So yeah, it's true what you're saying about the front office. Again, big shout out to my guy CJ. He said something that's definitely on point. He said, "Man, this is America's team. You don't wait. You pay to win right away. Rich ass team playing broke." And he has a point because it seems like Jerry Jones, he pays. You know what happens? And it happens all the time. He pays out so big to look what happened with Zeke. Remember, Zeke got his contract. He had one successful year after that. After that, what happened? Unsuccessful year, right? I feel like we need to pay the players. He needs to pay Dak. He needs to pay CD. Go out there and get the dogs that you need to be able to get that Super Bowl win. And again, my guy CJ has a right mentality when he says this. Are there any Super Bowl winners on this roster right now? Because I don't see Dak. I don't see this team. My opinion, guys, speak your mind all the time. This is my opinion. But what I see on the roster right now, could you honestly see the Dallas Cowboys going to Super Bowl this year?
Well, I'll say this. Even though the roster still is not complete, I feel good about the offensive side of the ball because, again, this offense was ranked #1 last year. We're talking about coming out from a Kellen Moore office to a Mike McCarthy, brand new. And even though they did struggle in the beginning, the first couple of games of the season, they was able to pick it up and run with it. And, this ranked #1, first year of learning the offense, I think it was a big thing. That's what allows me to have faith in this team moving forward that, they have what it is. Now, look at Green Bay. Green Bay is a young team, young football team. And they got hot at the last minute. And what happened? They was able to go against the 49ers. They should have almost won that game, but they lost it, right? Look at the the LA Rams. LA Rams was a team, I think, kind of similar to what the Cowboys are at right now as far as retooling. They went to the same thing with bad contracts, letting guys go. They couldn't sign nobody. They had to rely on all their draft picks. And at the last minute, they made a late run. Now, I don't like late runs. But sometimes it's one thing when you become that hot team at the end. And this is the reason why I feel the Cowboys this season can still compete and still make the playoffs. Now, again, to say Super Bowl, I got to see what do we add on to the defense, especially in the trenches. Secondary is fine, in my opinion. We can add on more depth to the secondary. But between the linebackers, the defensive line, until I see that, I'll definitely make my judgment on it, but I still feel good that this team is still a playoff team this season.
Listen, I just think right now we lost majority of our offensive line, key players, key guys, bro. You know it, right? Now you're gonna ask, you're gonna go out. We have to draft too many key positions, right? There's too many key positions we have to fill. We have to get a wide receiver. We have to get an offensive line for sure. Running back. What else? What did you say? Tight end position. We lost Van Der Esch, right? So I feel like we got so many key positions right now that we need to fill. Do you think? And our pick is like we're pick 24th, bro. Realistically, we're deep in the draft. Even when we get to after our third pick, we're deep. We're deep after. Right. So I'm just saying, with all the positions, yeah, it's okay to free agency. Well, a lot of these guys are going to be rookies, man. You're going to ask these rookies to step on the field on their first year. That's a lot of pressure. From college to NFL, it's a huge jump. That's a huge jump. And that's a big demand that you're asking some of these rookies, and even some of these rookies that we drafted from last year. to step up and fill some big shoes.
Yeah,
So
you know, I'm sorry.
No, I get what you're saying. That with what we're saying and what we're going to be doing with the, in a draft and getting some free agency guys afterwards. I get it, but I just think it's too much of an ask on their first. Maybe next year. I feel we're in a rebuilding. It's going to be a rough year. I feel.
Here's the thing. Again, the offense will have to carry this team, in which the offense did pretty much the second half of the season last year. And I think the offense will be totally even better this year. And, depending on what we have on defense, it will give the defense time to adjust. But I think we have enough. I think we're going to have enough on the defense to be a playoff team. But I'll say this. When you speak about the guys from the rookies asking to be stepping up in the first year, you're absolutely right. You're 100% correct. Last year, in our whole draft class, they pretty much played. Wasn't a lot of noise. School get a title we got in the second round. A lot of Cowboy Nation wasn't happy with that pick. They feel they should have gone in another direction. He had up and down year, a lot of key drops in key moments. Mozzie Smith, listen, the big defensive tackle. There was a time, he was that one tech that we had, and come to find out he took a step backwards because of him losing weight. It's still a mystery whether the rumors came out that they asked him to lose weight, and the rumors was like, it was other things involved. Hopefully the young man, gets his thing together.
He just had shoulder surgery.
Yeah, he just had shoulder surgery. Right, but Mike
shoulder surgery.
Right, and Mike Zimmer came out and said that it was said that Mike Zimmer's gonna get him going. He's doing great right now, X, Y, and Z. So yeah, it's not easy, and you're right. It's sometimes it takes at least a year too. Look at Jalen Tolbert, the wide receiver. Jalen Tolbert was drafted the year before last, and his first rookie year wasn't good. He ended up sitting down for the rest of the season. Last year, he made a big jump, had some great key moments. Even the game against Philadelphia, he made some good catches. You saw the trust between him and Dak Prescott growing. So you're right. It takes time. It could take up to the second year. But Overshown now, I believe he was our third round draft pick, and he was coming along and during the preseason. We was like, oh, we feel good about him contributing during the season, but he got hurt against Seattle, out for the year, and he didn't get to play. Deuce Vaughn was a late draft pick as well. First two games against the Giants.
If you really want to go deep in it, Dak was 4th round.
Yeah, I mean,
there is some diamond in the rough late.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Hey, listen, when it comes to the Cowboys drafting, we got to be honest. They do a good job in finding some gems. Look at Ronald Leary, undrafted free agent. Ronald Leary had a great year, earned a big contract with Denver after that. Now, whatever happens after Denver, that's another destination. But with us, he was great. He was awesome. So, it's the thing where we have to, and don't get me wrong, you're right. Sometimes these rookies take their time to develop.
Yep.
Not all the time the first year. But here's another thing. Just look at Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, all pro. And I remember being in Vegas with Professor O, Jay Tuck, and others, and we seen an abundance of Cowboys fans just booing when we got Tyler Smith. The minute this brother played, oh man, he's an all pro. He all pro, played some left tackle, left guard, and now there's rumors that he may go back to tackle. So again, it's pretty much on that player. And this is what the front office is asking right now. We need you guys to step up. If you guys don't step up, we're gonna give you the exit door, and that's what's going on right now.
Listen, I just want to jump on a few comments. Big shout out to my guy, Macaldo. Big shout out to my guy Macaldo. He says, let's not forget, they have Dan Quinn. He's supposed to be a defensive spike. Dan Quinn's no longer with us. Just so we know. So Macaldo, stick to your Atlanta team. Don't worry about what we're doing with the Dallas Cowboys, man. And my guy CJ says the Lions will be winning the Super Bowl before Dallas. Uh,
I mean, that's his prediction. I mean, I'm not. That's his prediction. You know, I would never. You know, that's your prediction. But you know, I mean, we beat the Lions last year, so let's
well,
see.
did we? Did we?
I know I saw the W at the end. I saw the W.
Yeah, man. No, that game was definitely
Right.
yeah, that was very controversy, but like I like what you said, a W is a W, and that's all that matters.
That's what it
Yes,
matters.
the Lions didn't. Yeah, the Lions didn't make the playoffs. So did Dallas. You know, and we're not cheaters. So with that being said, I have one question. We talked about contracts, and this is the big question right here. Before you answer, will Dak be a Cowboy come 2025?
My answer is yes. He will. He
Okay.
wants to be here. He made a comment saying, you know, all he could do is control right now. But he spoke with Jerry Jones on the side. Excuse me. I don't. In my personal opinion, it will get worked out. He wants to be here. He wants to be here for life. Jerry Jones came out and said today in the press conference that it doesn't matter if a good quarterback is there at 24. We have Dak. We want Dak, and that's that.
Listen, I got, in my opinion, I'm 50-50 right now.
Okay.
You know what? What I hate about what's happening with Dak right now, you know, Jerry Jones should have paid him the first year instead of franchise tagging him.
Yeah.
I think that already set, you know, ruffled some feathers over there, right?
Right.
Dak's contract is in negotiation again, and it seems like they keep playing with him, and I feel bad for him because Dak is the face of the Dallas Cowboys. He's done a lot for the community. Um, no, Dak will never be a Green Bay Packer. I just got a message. Dak's going to Green Bay. That'll never happen. But I just think that Dak would be more appreciated playing for another team. I honestly think so. I just believe that if Dak was traded to another team, or he did decide to go play for another team, that he'd be more appreciative and he'd probably be more successful. And it's a harsh thing for me to say, Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm just, like I said, I'm speaking my mind. This is my opinion and my opinion only. But I just think that he'd definitely be more appreciated somewhere else.
No, you know, a lot. There's been a lot of times where even in social media, when you have some fans who just don't like Dak, they just, you know, when he's doing good, they don't say nothing. But when he's down or he has a bad game, this is when they come out. And you know, I always come out and say that, you know, when you see somebody play for another organization and they do something, they do well, and you know, that's what you're gonna understand is that it was us. And I could go back, you know. I know me and you been a Cowboy fan a long time, and we've been there during the early '90s, and we've seen when the Cowboys lost Troy Aikman. After Troy Aikman retired, the dark days. We was there how dark it was when we couldn't get not one quarterback to be the guy. We're talking about Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, Drew Henson.
Yep.
I mean, my God, Tony Banks. Yeah, so you know. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. Now, in that same draft that Dak Prescott came out, the Dallas Cowboys was trying to get John Lynch, a quarterback. Where's he at right now? He's probably bagging up groceries somewhere or doing whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to, as fans, if you wasn't, see, it's for the fans who was there during the early '90s, we understand what's going on. We see, you know, we know,
the pain.
Right, but for the ones who was not there in the '90s, respectfully saying, oh, be careful what you ask for. Because the thing is, Troy Aikman was the only 1st-round pick the Cowboys ever drafted. Tony Romo was undrafted. Dak was a 4th-round pick. So you know what that tells me? How confident am I to say the Cowboys will draft a good quarterback in the 1st round? How confident can I be when I've seen the struggles you went through for the whole career, years, and we got a 4th-round pick in Dak and undrafted in Tony Romo? Come on.
No, no.
You can't. So my thing is this: Dak will be a Cowboy for a long until he retires. In my opinion, Jerry Jones understands it. I'm sure Stephen Jones, who is pretty much running the operation, he understands this. It's just getting it done, and that's what it is.
No, I hear you. With that being said, draft is in 2 days.
Right.
Do you think that Dallas Cowboys will go for best player available, or will Dallas Cowboys pull the trigger and go somewhere left field, and where Dallas Cowboy Nation is going to go crazy?
I think with the situation this offseason, how things went, I think the Cowboys have to do is hit on every pick. That's the goal.
Mm.
You can't mess around. You can't be cute. You can't play around. For my goal is that when the Cowboys are available at 24, ready to pick, I'm hoping that the guys, the prospects that they have, they want, like maybe 4 or 5 of them are available, and a team in the back end, like Baltimore or maybe Kansas City, calls the Cowboys, goes, hey, we want to trade up. And for the Cowboys to trade back, because I think we need that extra 3rd round pick or that 4th round pick. That's my goal. But if there's nobody calling to come up, take the player that you know is going to help this football team out, contribute early, and get ready for day 2. That's just it. Now, for position, it has to be the trenches. O-line or D-line. That's
it. That's all I'm hoping. Please, Lord, let us go for an O-lineman right away. That's what I'm hoping. And I hope if the Dallas Cowboys pick a running back first pick, bro, I'm losing my mind.
There was ESPN ESPN show the other day, a draft show special, and one of the writers, I think it had a round table, and one of the writers had the Cowboys selected Jonathan Brooks from Texas. Now, I'll say this: I'm not a draft guru guy. I step on the draft board once the season is over. But
me too.
Speaking to I'm surrounded by great guys with the draft. Mendoza, I know, is in the chat. White, that's a Dom White, pick 6. Professor O, BJ Nick.
Yeah.
And you know what? Collectively, just hearing them talk and stuff like that. Maybe if Jonathan Brooks didn't have the ACL injury, just maybe in the first what happens back 1, but not likely. Not likely.
No,
and that's the thing about it. I'll be shocked. I'll be pissed off. I don't think the running back class is going to be something where you take a guy in the first, like Gibbs was taken by Detroit, and Bijan Robinson. I still think that you can get the top running back like Jonathan Brooks between the 2nd and the 3rd round.
And listen, I hope not, man. All right, so comments. We're gonna attack some of these comments. No way Dak retires a Cowboy. That's my guy CJ's opinion.
Okay.
CJ's a brother. Let me let you know this now. CJ is a brother, and he says Dallas needs a white quarterback.
well, listen. If he's saying that Dallas Cowboys needs a white quarterback, well, you know what? Let's wait for Archie Manning to come out. Right? It's Archie Manning. I just saw the spring. I just saw the spring game of Archie Manning playing in Texas. He looked good. Let's wait for him then.
Yeah. No, these guys. So let me see what anybody says. You're right, Spoonie. Just like Brady was the late pick, he's the greatest. So just so you know, some of the diamonds in the rough sometimes are those guys that don't get picked, that are late picks in the draft. I just don't. Sometimes, yes, it's good to go for the best player available, but sometimes the best player available doesn't do shit.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, can I share my draft nightmares? May I? I mean,
100%. That's why we're here, bro.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna take it back to the NFL draft when it was rough. See, the draft right now is family friendly. Back in the days, I'm talking about. I'm gonna go to 98, 1998. The NFL draft was 1 day. 1 day. In order for you to get a ticket, you had to wait at Madison Square Garden, right, at 4:00 in the morning. So a group of us would get there. Some of us, stay here on the line, get some sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich on a roll, with orange juice. We go. Wait for that take. We online from 4 in the morning, 4 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. for a ticket. And it's first come, first serve. There was fights outside. There was a whole lot of things. I got my wristband. I got my ticket. But now, this is when the draft, the response from the fan base, if they didn't like your team, it was raw. They was fighting the hallway. They were throwing food. I remember 98. We had, I believe it was the 7th or 8th pick. And Randy Moss was heavily talked about being a Cowboy. The rumors were, what I researched, Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, and Jerry Jones all met. Jerry came out and said, "You're going to be a Cowboy. We're going to take you." Now, Randy Moss had off the field issues. There was a lot of things with that. So Jerry felt good. Somebody in his coaching staff, all right, who didn't last a year in there, more than a year, excuse me, came out and said, "We don't need Randy Moss. We already have Michael Irvin. He's the off the field situation. We don't take Randy Moss." Now, we took Greg Ellis, solid player for the Cowboys, but not Randy Moss. The Cowboys fans booed. There was stuff being thrown. There was food being thrown. I didn't throw nothing, I swear. But it was but it was rough. It was rough. Now, here's the thing. We always say Jerry Jones makes all the decisions. No, he wouldn't let everybody have a say, so he just makes the last decision, especially when if it's 3 and it's 3, I got to be the one to break the ice. And in that draft, he listened to somebody. Let me give you another one. Bill Parcells. I love Bill Parcells. I'm a big fan of Bill Parcells. Okay? Now, Bill Parcells could turn around great teams, but some question his draft, the way he drafted. Now, we had 2 first-round picks that year. I'm Bill Parcells' first year drafting. Okay, Jerry Jones wanted DeMarcus Ware. Bill wanted Sean Merriman. Look at the careers. Now, I'm not disrespecting Sean Merriman. He was great with the Chargers. Lights out. But look at the difference. The following year, Bill Parcells drafted Bobby Carpenter. Now, this kid came from Ohio State. He was not a first-round pick. Some people said a second. Some scouts say 3rd round. And you picked him. Meanwhile, people said the reason why he picked him was because his father played for Parcells. So now, this is the thing. Jerry let him draft. And that pick was best. So what I'm saying is that, I know people are going to come out and say that Jerry Jones makes all the decisions. That's not accurate. It's not truly accurate. There's times he gets from everybody collectively, and he makes just the final decision, but he hears everybody out. And that's the way it is. We could go to Jason Garrett wanting Taco Charlton while the rest of the room wanted, what's my man's name from the Steelers? TJ Watt.
Yes.
See? So it's things like that. So, it's just a thing where Jerry Jones making all the decisions is not totally accurate. It's a collectively thing that he does, and it goes from there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just very happy that when CeeDee Lamb during that COVID draft was available, he drafted CeeDee Lamb. We thought it was Clavian Chason who went to Jacksonville, and didn't pan out there at all. Thankfully, we took CeeDee Lamb. Matter of fact, that was the day that BJ Nix almost ran through his family out to the garage because he predicted CeeDee Lamb would be a Cowboy during the whole offseason, right when the season ended. So that was a great moment.
Another great moment for me was when we drafted Michael Parsons, because I don't know if you remember that year. I kept saying we were going to get Parsons, and you guys were all going for Pitts. I remember we were always arguing, and I said, guys, we're not getting Pitts. We're getting Parsons. And if you go back and look at my live draft,
I remember
it, and we got Michael Parsons. And remember, Dallas Cowboy Nation went crazy. They didn't want him. The media was saying this, and look what he's been doing. So, guys, we should never judge. You know what I mean? Like, because somebody who you might feel is not a good fit ends up coming out and doing big things.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
a
know,
crapshoot. It's a crapshoot, man.
yeah, yeah,
It's not
it's a
guaranteed.
gamble.
It's not
It's a
guaranteed.
gamble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another question for you: if the Dallas Cowboys have an not so great season, let's say um I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. We don't have a successful season.
Mhm.
Now there's rumors. All the rumors, social media is coming out. Jerry Jones is talking to Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is going to be the Dallas Cowboys coach going into next year. What do you think about that? And why, why is Jerry Jones talking to Bill Belichick going into this season with Mike McCarthy being your head coach right now?
Yeah, and it's strange because it was so funny that Jay Tuck put out there on Twitter. I couldn't stop laughing for a while. During the press conference, as you put up earlier, you see Mike McCarthy just sit there. So Jay Tuck tweet says, blink twice if you're in trouble. Blink twice. So this imaging him like this, like blinking while Jerry and Steven are talking, I'm laughing my butt off with it. It was a funny imaginary thing. But
do you think Mike McCarthy, do you think Mike McCarthy's job is in jeopardy as of right now? Do you think Jerry Jones has had that talk to say, hey, Mike, you're in a hot seat right now?
It's a lame duck year. It's a lame duck year. That's what it is. But Jason Garrett, before he his last stint with the Cowboys,
Bro,
he had a lame duck year as well.
I don't even want to hear his name.
I'm sorry. I call him Mr. G. I call him
the clapper. The clapper. The clapper guy. All right.
He had the same situation. That was the year that we lost to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, was it Philadelphia?
It was Philly.
Yeah, it was Philly, and I believe he was re-signed for I think another 2 years. Again, for what we know right now and what's put out there, Jerry Jones is testing the whole team as of right now. Pretty much, he's saying, "I'm tired of paying. I want to see results." He's saying this is good enough, X, Y, and Z. Can I envision a move like that? Of course. If you're in a 1 year lame duck year, you're pretty much they can just get rid of you, get done. They don't owe you no money. You could hire somebody else. We know Belichick does want to come and coach the NFL. He tried this year, but there were certain teams that felt that they didn't want that what's the right militant style. They didn't want that militant style. This is why we thought Atlanta was going to hire him. It didn't go well with that. We know right now he's in college with his son in Washington, helping him out. I would never close the door on Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones, because that was something that was talked about before McCarthy ever came about. They have history. They hang out with each other. They have a close relationship. It's just pretty much where, again, knowing Jerry Jones loves ratings. He loves that star power. Imagine Jerry Jones, Bill Belichick in the same building, try to get the Cowboys to a championship team. But then again, how much power is Bill going to get, from doing what he wants to do? How much say so? So, it's up in the air for me when it comes to that. But when it comes down to a lame duck year, anything can happen, in my opinion.
Listen, my only worry, like you said, Bill Belichick has that militant mentality, right? I just see Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones clashing, right? I see that. Would I want Bill Belichick to come and be a Dallas Cowboy coach? I definitely think he'd be a good fit. I think he'd be a better fit than Mike McCarthy, right?
See,
I'm not
okay.
I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is a bad coach, because he isn't. I think what he's done with the Dallas Cowboys since the clapper, as I call him, he's done wonders with the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Right.
I think he made some modifications. He got the right coaching staff on, but I just don't think he has it in him anymore to get us to that Super Bowl. Do I think Bill Belichick will do it? I think he'll be a lot more structured, should we say? And I think he'll probably go out there and probably draft a lot better than, probably guide us to better drafting than Mike. I don't think McCarthy has. Okay, what it really comes down to, I don't think McCarthy has a real voice on what need the players that we need to draft. I really don't think he has it. I think Bill Belichick will definitely have more insight on what we should do than Mike does.
Well, I'll say this: Bill Belichick. Once Tom Brady left, he tried to build the Patriots up, and he couldn't do it. It looked bad. I'll say this about Mike McCarthy: if the Cowboys decide, I know the question posed earlier was, do we see Dak Prescott in 2025, right? And let's just say Dak is not here. We got Trey Lance and possibly another quarterback we're going to draft. This is where you want Mike McCarthy to stay. Mike McCarthy does very well with quarterbacks.
Yes.
Now what he did with Dak Prescott, MVP season. That's the best Dak has ever had. Now, I'll say this. The same way Jerry Jones blames himself for Tony Romo ever winning is the same way Jerry Jones will have to blame himself for Dak Prescott not winning. I don't like the notion that people say that a quarterback shouldn't have to win with weapons. No, that's the game. You want to give your quarterback more, provide your quarterback with more to help him out to win. That's the whole point. Nobody has won with nothing. Brady has never did it. Peyton Manning, they always had something. So my thing is it's the front office. They have to do a better job in pretty much team building. This is what BJ Nix will always say: team building, not roster building, but team building. BJ Nix. So my thing is this: if Dak is here and Belichick comes, I'm with you. We going to the stadium. We're gonna buy some beer, some wings. We good. But if Dak's not here, I want McCarthy to stay, because you got to develop Trey Lance or whoever you want to draft. Maybe Shadir Sanders coming out of Colorado with Dion. You never know. There's some combo with that as well. But I want Mike here when it comes to quarterback, because he even his first 3 years with Dallas, right? And I don't count the COVID year when Dak got hurt. It was just a mess up year. It was bad for all teams. But the year after that, I'll say this: he had to just coach, but the power was given to Kellen Moore running the offense. And even then, you saw the things that McCarthy was saying, like, hey, you have to know your personnel. You have to know your guys. You can't have the same guys with the same plays. Everybody's different. Like McCarthy said, I have plays for Jerry Rice. I have plays for Waters. I have plays for T.O. Anybody. You can't put the same person in the same type of way. It don't work out all the time. So it was like McCarthy was pretty much correcting Kellen Moore and teaching. Now, last year when Kellen Moore moved on to the Chargers, McCarthy took fully over. I mean, it took a minute, but the offense second half was great. When was the last time we had a quarterback MVP year and a wide receiver leading the league in receiving yards?
Receivers.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb, that's what you do.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's the problem that we had against Green Bay. A big shout out to my guy, Pat 1984, man. Thanks for tuning in. And he said something that we talked about this, Pat, earlier. Everyone jumped on Dak, and I get it, but the defense shit the bed versus Green Bay at the end of the year. We said that earlier. Yes, we couldn't stop the D. The D couldn't stop him at all. That's exactly when you tune in kind of late, Pat. We definitely jumped on that. But as you're talking about Dak right now being MVP talk and CeeDee Lamb leading in receiving yards last year, they didn't gel against the Green Bay game. They were off. Something was off, because on the sidelines, Mike McCarthy was talking to CD. There was definitely something off that game because CD had 2 major drops. So I get what you're saying. And yes, we have to have that formula, but we need to have that successful formula in every game. Right? And that's definitely what I want to see going into this season.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And if Jerry Jones, as you said before, with the sideline situation said, and that's a great point with CeeDee Lamb, with the body language, all that kind of stuff, it's like they were just out of it. That's part of what Jerry Jones is talking about. I want to see results. I'm not scared to write the paycheck, sign my name, and none of that stuff. You know, he wants these guys here. Listen, I truly believe Dak, Lamb, and Parsons ain't going nowhere. I believe 2 out of 3 will be signed before the season starts. By the summertime, that's pretty much where Jerry Jones did Des Bryant. And remember with CeeDee Lamb, another point to put out there, it's not always the front office don't want to pay. It takes 2 to tangle. It takes 2 to
Yeah.
dance. CeeDee Lamb
Yep.
is looking at Justin Jefferson's contract. There's word on this in the NFL street that the receiver from the Bengals, Jamar Chase, he wants a new deal. So,
Yep.
you know, again, we're talking about CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. Those are 3 of one of the best young receivers in the game.
Receivers
And the
out
thing
there.
is,
Yep.
right. So when it comes down to contract, somebody got to sign. We could go back to Des Bryant and Demaryius, and rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas from
Yeah.
Denver. They was both with the same agent at the same time. Same, you know, and what happened? They both signed about 20 minutes ahead of the next man. They was able to get the deal done. So I believe that these guys will come to a deal before the season starts, because at the end of the day, we don't want what happened to Dak. Now, remember, when Dak played on that year, he got hurt. He bet on himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he bet on himself, what happened? And see, them injuries come, and once you get injured, your value goes down. The amount you ask for goes way down, or you may not get a contract at all. So I believe the pressure will be on both sides of the board to get a deal done. I still think this is the top offense in this game. You know, of course, we're going to improve on the offensive line, get the running game going. The defense will definitely be built up. You know, we'll see what happens after the draft. But I feel good about this team still being a playoff team.
Yeah, man. And you said something that was key right there. And, you know, like we got to work on our offensive line. We got to run our game and do our, you know, step up when it comes to our running game. That's why I don't want Dallas to go and get a running back, because we don't run the ball. And me and Jay Tuck spoke about this the other day, and Jay Tuck had about Dallas doesn't run the ball, and that's something that's very enough, you know.
Enough.
And if we don't have a good running back right now in that backfield, Dak is going to be throwing his arm till it falls off, you know.
And this is why I like the depth in this running back class. You know, talking with Mendoza, Dom White, BJ, Professor O, and everybody else. You know, Jay Tuck put out his stuff out there. When you get the information, you look at it, everybody's pretty much on the same page of what type of running back we want. You know, the key thing is, and I like Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. I like him. The Cowboys really do like him. But see, what scares the Cowboy fans is that injury history. Every time in the second, if you go to the second round history, we're talking about Jalen Smith. Right, no good, right? We're talking about let's go Randy Gregory. He's no longer here, injuries, but off the field. Our second round pick
Van Der Esch.
First. Oh,
Van Der Esch.
First round, but you know, out, but injury history though. But you're right, not first round. I mean, not second round, but first round, but injury history.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. So that's the key. That's the thing that we're hoping to get away from. But at the same time, if they have good knowledge of the kid's situation, his injury, which they're saying that the Cowboys doctors are the ones who operate on him. You know, of course, his information is given to all 32 teams, but the Cowboys, they bring him in for a visit to see him. You know, if he's the guy, I'm hoping he's the one that really pans out. Some scouts have said that he could have been a first-round pick, a late first if he didn't get injured and stuff like that. And the one big thing is what a lot of teams look for in these running backs coming out is pretty much the amount of carries. Because now what you see is when you have a running back coming out to the draft, getting drafted into the NFL, the amount of carries you have, you may slow down earlier once you get into the league. And this kid, Jonathan Brooks, doesn't have not even close to over 300 carries for what I saw. So my whole thing is he's fresh, just a injured kid. But My favorite running back in this draft, who I really, really want, I know it's probably not everybody's list, is Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin, a big physical back. Some compare him to Derrick Henry. He's 20 years old. 20 years old. And the last time the Cowboys drafted somebody that young was Tyron Smith out of USC when he was 20 years old. So that age plays a big role. Myself and BJ Nix was on the space the other day, and we was with other folks talking about the draft, and when we talked about the running back, the one key point he did mention was the fact that imagine you get a back who's 20 years old, and let's say in the third or fourth round, which would be a 4-year contract, you pay him. You might be able to give him 2 contracts before he starts wearing down, just with the age factor. So those are things to look after, in my opinion, when it comes to the running backs.
Yeah. Well, Pat 1984 doesn't want that. He wants get running back Benson from FSU. Go Noles.
So here's my thing. I want him only because of 2 people.
Okay.
Jay Tuck and my boy Mendoza. The big FSU guys, they've been pounding the table. We want Benson, we want Trey on this team. And here's the thing: the last guy we ever had from Florida State that I can remember, I believe was Mario Edwards. Pardon me if I got his name wrong, but he was a cornerback. That was years ago. Didn't even pan out. But I love Florida State players. Just like Miami players. So I'm hoping just for those guys, they get the guy Trey Benson.
Yeah. So before I let you go, there's 2 more things I want to cover. Sure. So when we got Trey Lance last year, that was a shocker. To me, yes. I was like, what are we doing? I'm like, what message are you sending to Dak? And Dak, being the professional athlete that he is and social media, he's like, listen, this business is business. Mm-hmm. That's what he came out and said, business is business. And excuse me, you heard that Dak was working with him, and he wasn't close to the idea of having him being a back and his backup and so on. And I felt that there was 2 things that were going to happen. One, we're going to use him as trade bait. That's what I felt was going to happen. And guys, let's be honest, that could still happen.
Yes, okay.
Right? It is something that could happen come draft day. They might say, hey, we'll give you Trey Lance. We'll give you this. If you, right. They might trade up for a better pick. Right. This is all stuff that's guys, we can't close the door to this kind of stuff, right? But with that being said, where do you see Trey Lance coming in when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys? Hey, there's your guy Mendoza. There's your guy Mendoza. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So where do you think Trey Lance falls in the plans with the Dallas Cowboys?
I'll say this right now. With Trey Lance is he's great insurance in case of injuries. In my opinion, he still has to show that he could that he's grown. And what I mean by that is we have to give him more time in the preseason. We got to see him beat out Cooper Rush for the position. He's the Cowboys. He's a former first-round pick for the 49ers, but the Cowboys had him as I believe a 4th-round grade on him, which is what they traded for him. Could have been higher, but they traded a 4th-round pick for him. And, from the words of Stephen Jones, he's had a great offseason so far. He's growing. He's a great insurance policy in case Dak is not here long term. And if they like what they see from him and want to give him a chance, that's the route they're going to go. But here's another point. During Trey Lance draft process before he got drafted, the first person he called to go through the draft process was Dak Prescott. So they already have formed a relationship before Trey Lance even got here, which is a great thing. So right now, and another thing, Mike McCarthy loves backup quarterbacks. He loves it.
Yeah.
I forgot the young man's name that he had drafted, and he basically traded him to the Seattle Seahawks. And even in the same year, the Seattle Seahawks drafted Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson beat that quarterback out. I mean, he ate the money, X, Y, and Z, and you moved on. But Trey Lance right now is nothing but great insurance. And can a trade happen? Of course. During last year, Minnesota Vikings called the Cowboys, according to some folks, and asked them about Trey Lance services before they made a trade with the Arizona Cardinals for the other quarterback. Mm-hmm. So the thing, especially this year's class, if you have a abundance of team like say Denver, even though Denver just traded for Zach Wilson from the Jets, but other teams like say Minnesota again, or any NFL team who don't get the quarterback they want, well, Trey Lance is there. He's being groomed. I wouldn't, I can see that team calling the Cowboys, hey, what do you want for Trey Lance? X, Y, but do I think they're going to trade him? No, I don't think so. I think right now for this draft, because they did trade this year's 4th-round draft pick, I feel that he's part of this year's class. So they're going to grade him along with everybody else that they draft come Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, man. Big. I'm looking forward. I'm excited for the draft, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. So last question, and this is always one that I like to do, and nobody really likes to answer this question. Every time I pop it up, people are like, man, don't ask me that. So with what you see on paper right now, the draft hasn't happened.
Right.
Predict our record for the season. And you know what? I want you to do this, and then come mid-season, we're gonna relook at this, and I'm gonna
100%.
go back and I'm gonna say, Spoonie, before draft, this is what you have. Are you still going this direction, or do you see us having a better or worse record? So without knowing what we're gonna draft, what do you think our record's gonna be going into the season?
Okay, so being that we've been 12-5 the last 3 years, I'm gonna change up a little bit. Some changes a little bit. I'm gonna say 11 a little bit. I'm gonna say 11-6.
You're gonna say 11-6.
11-6.
Okay.
11 wins, 6 losses.
So the other day, I had it at 9-8. But I've been doing a little bit of reading, and I've been talking to a few people. So I'm actually gonna I'm probably gonna say 10-7.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I see.
Can still be playoff.
Yeah. Pat has it 11-5 and 12-4. Oh no, he switched up. Here we go. That's better. Yeah, 11-6 or 12-5, honestly. Yeah. I listen, it's gonna be an interesting season.
Of course.
To be honest with you. We have a lot of young guys coming up, a lot of young guys. That they're going to have a lot of pressure on them going into the season. A lot of guys need to step up. Definitely. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I'll just add on to that what you were saying. If you look at the division, and I'm not trying to, any giant eagle watch the defend, I'm not trying to put nobody down. I'm just going with logic. And when you look at the situation, okay, the Giants still up in the air with their quarterback situation, right? With Daniel Jones. This is supposed to be his last year, right? Or they may draft the quarterback and they'll just say whatever with it. That's one team out the way right there. Defense definitely improved, but the offense is still gonna be kind of questionable, right? Let's go to Washington. Washington, their quarterback was the most sacked last year in the NFL. Sam Howell was no longer there. They're going to draft the quarterback in the second pick overall, right? Still a rookie. Let's go to the rivalry with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, now here's the thing. Yes, Eagles spend so much money. We have seen the dream team before, and we have seen how that story ended. The story ended with a closed book and bad, right down the hill, bad cap situation the next 2 years. Now, why am I saying that? Well, all of a sudden, the Eagles cap guy, number one cap guy, he quit. Not fired, quit. I don't know what happened, but he quit. Now, on top of that, we have Kellen Moore. Yes, he's over there with Philadelphia. But here's a question. Is Kellen Moore going to force Jalen Hurts to play his style? Or is Kellen Moore gonna build around Hurts' style? See, that's the thing. when you got fans that say, "Hey, well, look at that! Look at Dallas was top 5 offense with Kellen Moore. Look at the Chargers with Herbert." Here's the kicker: Herbert and Dak are more alike in the style of quarterback. Take away the athleticism that Dak and Herbert, but just the style versus Jalen Hurts. Now we see him last year. Now here's another thing: say that we know this saying. The outside the house can look beautiful, but when you walk in the house, if it's dirty and it's funky and it's garbage all over the place,
that's
you
the
can't
Eagles,
live
baby.
there. And that's the story how the Eagles left last year. The outside looked great. The roster looked nice, right? But what was going on? You got players coming up to Jalen Hurts' face, disrespecting him. Certain players not wanting to attend the practice a week before the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's the thing.
That
the
team
only problem the Cowboys have is the problem that we as Cowboy fans kind of see is the lack of movement. But it's not to say that they're not going to be a good team. The other 3 teams still have bigger problems.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, 100%. Spoonie, man, I'm so glad you came on the show, man. We used to chop it up a lot. I'm hoping that we're gonna do some stuff with BJ Nix and Jay Tuck, and I got DMV coming on after the draft. I got Mr. Rome coming on after the draft. We're definitely gonna chop this up again, man. You've always been a huge supporter of me, and I've always been a huge supporter of yourself. And that's what this blogging thing is about, man. It's about we have a family. A lot of people don't understand this. A lot of us don't do this for money, man. We just do it for the love of talking, chopping it up, and talking about the team that we love. And that's for sure. These guys, Dallas Cowboys. This is what it comes down to. So without further ado, please, Spoonie, let everybody know where to find you, man. Let them know about your social media and what you got coming up and so on.
Yeah, you can find me at Spoonie881 on Twitter. You can also find me at Pick 6 Sports. Unfortunately, the loss. My condolences to BJ Nix's family, who we learned this evening is no longer here. We don't know about the draft week as far as what we're gonna do, but if you follow us at Pick 6 Sports or you follow my name at Spoonie881, we definitely will post it and covering the draft. We definitely will keep you posted. And that's it. With draft days here, let's all have fun. We're gonna dominate and we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah, 100%, man. Spoonie, once again, I thank you so much, man. Guys, I want to send a huge shout out to my supporters, my sponsors, BuzzFit Gym, definitely Montreal area, BuzzFit.ca. Check them out, man. Cheapest pricing for monthly gym memberships, man. Great gym, great place. Big shout out to BJ Nix, Jay Tuck. Big shout out to my guys, DMV, JC Network, Spoonie. Definitely go find this guy on Twitter if you don't have him. Great guy as well. If I missed anyone, I'll definitely be reaching out to you guys soon, man. Thanks for tuning in. It's Montreal, Canada's own. It's your boy Sid. Thanks for joining Speak Your Mind all the time. And guess what?